Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, bringing you unique personal insights on Glacier National Park that you can't get anywhere else. In this episode, we are honored to invite a guest into the studio. We have Anthony Nelson from the Glacier Institute, Executive Director, hiker extraordinaire, hunter, I think, zookeeper. We're going to get into his history and his past a little bit. And then we're going to talk about the Glacier Institute specifically, some guided hikes, and maybe even hear what Anthony likes in the park. But Anthony, we're honored to have you join us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm ridiculously honored to be a guest on your show. This is cool.
Well, the Glacier Institute is such a big part of the Flathead Valley and the official educational partner of Glacier National Park, right? There is nobody above Glacier Institute when it comes to learning about Glacier.
Yeah, absolutely. And Flathead National Forest, too. We can't forget our friends over at the forest.
Right on.
Yeah, being the official education partner, we are always excited to partner with the park on their educational goals and just step alongside them to help make that happen in any way that we can.
And we have had the privilege, Sarah and I, of hiking with Anthony and some of the other folks from the Institute, Maddie, and being involved with them quite a bit. Sarah, what do you think? Anthony, can he hold his own with the Hiking Fools?
Absolutely. We enjoyed our hike together and all the information he, shared with us about the park and just, his personal life and how he got to where he is now.
Yeah, in fact, we hiked Piegan Pass earlier this year, and that is another episode that you can check out for some more details on Piegan Pass hike and the trail. But Anthony, we wanted to hear a little bit about your personal story and your journey here to the Flathead Valley and even to your position.
The Piegan Pass episode is great, by the way. Yeah, it was a good one. I liked it. I grew up in Minnesota. I'm not a native Montanan, which I know can be a negative mark on your rap sheet these days. But I did grow up visiting Glacier when I was a kid. This is like the one big vacation we would take almost every year. My uncle grew up or has lived in Big Fork for many years. And so that was always our big trip. It's like, all right, we're going to pack up the minivan and we're going to load up some food from Walmart and we're going to drive out and go stay with my Uncle Scott. And so like all of my best childhood memories are in Glacier. I gave this very starry-eyed view of my childhood and hiking with my parents. And, I jumped into Hidden Lake when I was, a young kid. And I remember, the crazy rushing feel of almost sucking in a bunch of water as you're jumping into the cold water. All those things, like best childhood memories here in the Flathead Valley. So I always knew I was going to be here someday. Knew I had to make it back. So I ended up going and pursuing a degree in wildlife biology. And my grandma always brought me to the zoo when I was a kid, and I just fell in love with animals. And so I pursued the dream of being a zookeeper, and I did that kind of on and off for about 12 years and ended up working for several different zoos, ending at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs, and was fortunate to work with a lot of the species that I now get to work with in the wild, or at least educate on. And so I did a Rocky Mountain goat show every day at 10:45. I was pretty involved in some of the grizzly bear training that we did there, and created a unique perspective on a lot of these creatures and just the choices that they make and how they go about their day and what drives them and what keeps them moving. I think when we're doing a lot of training for both for veterinary care and then for natural behavior shows, being able to understand what makes them tick and help to highlight how awesome they are as a species was really eye-opening. It gives me a weird perspective to walk into.
And Sarah is smiling here. She's the wildlife. I still think, Anthony and Sarah, you should somehow create a zoo here in the Flathead Valley. We've got so much wildlife.
We need one.
It's a big project, I know, and it's easy for me to say you should do it. But Sarah, definitely you're the wildlife mannerisms, characteristics. You kind of study those, and I think you share that with Anthony.
Yeah, I do think that we share that together. And I love listening to you talk and your story because you kind of lived out like what my dream always was, and my path didn't necessarily take me there. So I'm just kind of more of a hobby, enjoying wildlife and getting out there. But you definitely lived that. And I love hearing your story.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what's led me to this place. And I think one of the things that I love to drive home with people, especially guests that come out of the park, is like you don't have to be a full-on expert. You don't have to have spent years and years studying animal behavior to be able to go out and enjoy the outdoors and being able to have a respect for these animals. Sometimes it's a 5-minute lesson with somebody who knows what they're talking about to just spark that little bit of excitement that, that can last for the rest of your life. And all of a sudden you can remember when you're standing next to an educator with the Glacier Institute who's got a spotting scope looking at a bear that's half a mile away. You get 5 minutes of education, and all of a sudden, like, man, that was a captivating memory that you take with you forever. So those are the kinds of experiences that we're trying to create as often as we can.
Yeah, and you definitely do. We're going to get into also some of the specific programs that you have, but we've taken a couple. I mean, you have everything from fly fishing to lichen and fungi to like birds of prey, pretty much everything, Glacier Institute.
Yeah, you name it. We teach on, the big predators. I like to call them the charismatic megafauna, all the big guys that everyone gets really excited about, grizzly bears and mountain lions and wolves and all that stuff. But then we look down at the tiny little stuff too. We do medicinal plant classes, and we teach about the geology, the bedrock that makes Glacier National Park, Glacier National Park. All those parts and pieces. They're all important pieces to the story. And the coolest part for us is there's experts on each of them that are way smarter than I am. So every time I get to go hike with these folks, I'm just like jaw on the ground, excited to learn. And then every time I feel like I've figured it out and I understand something, I learn something new and my mind is blown. So it's cool, honestly. I'm honored to do it. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wealth of information surrounding the Glacier Institute. A lot of local experts, as you mentioned, that contribute to the mission of the Glacier Institute. And Anthony, thanks for leading the way.
Oh yeah, totally. It's an honor to do it. And it's really fun to go out and hike with cool folks who are also excited. So going out and being able to hike with you too and be a part of this podcast is cool because it's all about that idea of getting people outside and getting people to fall in love with the outdoors, right? Like we all got memories of hiking with our wives, kids, parents, and just getting outside and having those experiences is so important. And this podcast helps people to feel more prepared and ready to go and have those experiences. So it's great.
Yeah, we're attempting to make this a great resource for people maybe that have just moved here, that are a little bit intimidated by Glacier National Park. They don't know where to start. Sarah and I met working in the park, so we had the luxury of living at the Lake McDonald complex for an entire summer. And now we've been here 16 years, and most of our weekends are spent in the park, but not everybody has that. And so the Glacier Institute sort of introduces people to Glacier. And Sarah, we've been, some of the great things are the public image of Glacier Institute. And we've enjoyed the Lumberjack Ball a few times, which is a great place to meet these people and support the Institute. You can do that, by donating. You can do that by spreading the word and or taking in one of the programs yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been really excited. Since 2021, we've been taking a lot of people out on the trails that have never been out on the trails. We started a program partnering with the park to bring people out for educational day hikes. And honestly, a lot of the folks that come on those are tourists who are visiting, and they're nervous about something, about bears or getting lost or parking spots or you name it. There's a lot of reasons. And it's a very cool, humbling experience to walk with somebody for their first time in Glacier National Park. It is pretty epic. And the team that we have of educators that we run through all kinds of training to get them ready for the summer and to go walk along with them and experience their passion. I mean, I tell them all the time, like, people are going to remember some of the facts, but they're going to remember the way that you make them feel, and they're going to feel that passion that you have. So like, let it ooze out. And sweet Martha, they let it ooze out, and people get excited about the outdoors, and it's an honor. It's cool. It's fun to walk out with people who have never seen mountains like that, never even had the opportunity to see a grizzly bear or a Rocky Mountain goat. It's cool.
We get really excited when family come to visit, and they've never been out here before. And I feel like that's some of our favorite type of people to bring into the park. They get excited about the smallest little ground squirrel or, the rushing, the little dribbly of a stream, and you're thinking in your mind, you just wait.
Right.
You just wait, but they're so excited, and so you just enjoy the moment with them, even though it's a small moment in our world. So I really love seeing that too.
Yeah.
It's super cool, to see somebody experience for the first time. There is no excuse. There is no excuse if you live here. You need to get into Glacier National Park, and hopefully you use the Hiking Fools podcast as a resource. And we have so much to talk about, but we're going to take a short commercial break. Stick with us. We've got another segment coming right up, and a quick word from our sponsor, Freedom Bank.
As Josh and Sarah from Hiking Fools will tell you, a great hike starts with the right gear. And at Freedom Bank, we think great banking starts with the right team. From mobile check deposits to custom loan solutions, we're ready to help you succeed so you can spend more time on the trail and less time worrying about your money. Freedom Bank, big solutions, small town heart, member FDIC.
Welcome back, everyone. We are the Hiking Fools, and today we have been chatting with Anthony Nelson from the Glacier Institute. We heard so much about Anthony, how he got to where he is, a lot about the organization, and here in this segment, we're gonna get a little more personal and see what types of things Anthony really appreciates about the park and his favorite hikes and hiking with families like us. He has young children, and there's never a better time to get people exposed to the park than when they're young, because we already mentioned that. It gets somewhere into your soul and you just can't get it out. The mountains and everything that Glacier has to offer. But Anthony, I want to start with maybe just making sure everybody knows about the educational hikes that Glacier Institute offers.
Yeah, I'll run through them really quick. So we've got a wide variety of programs that we offer, and I'd be remiss not to mention Big Creek. Big Creek is our youth campus, since we were just talking about kids. We partner with the Forest Service to operate that campus. About 1,500 kids a year that come through those programs. So fall and spring is school groups, and then the summer we open it up and do our own outdoor kind of summer camp kind of a thing. And we do backpacking programs, so check it out. And then our field camp location inside Glacier National Park is where we do a lot of in-depth and multi-day programs. So you can come and join with us for a full immersive week in Glacier National Park, which is really cool. And then also to learn from some of these experts that we're talking about, like our Diane Boyds to talk about wolves, and our Denny Olsons to learn about birds, and man, you name it. We've got a very cool crew of educators, many of which who have been teaching for over 20 years for the Glacier Institute, and people that are way smarter than me and have cooler stories. So you got
there's some really characters around here that have so much history. Denny, in fact, we just ran into him on our last hike on Peak and Pass. He was sitting there having a sandwich and like, hey, Autobahn Society. And Jim Williams, we ran into somewhere up above Logan Pass. We were headed to Dragon's Tail, and he was out for a hike. And so it's just, you get out there and you meet interesting people because we all share the same passion, right?
Yeah, we're all in it. Yeah. We're all like out there experiencing this place that we love.
Yeah. I want to hear, speaking of folks, I want to hear who is the most interesting or unique person that you've ever personally guided on a hike. And I know it's mostly educational, but do you have any stories about people that visited? I don't know, famous people. What have you seen?
I feel like you might be prying a little bit on this one, Josh.
I
have had a really cool experiences hiking with really cool people. Some executives of companies and some people who, you may have heard their name before. I try not to go too much into it, but I did.
Sure.
I had Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, was one of our big donors who helped us out with our Restoration Big Creek campaign. And he came out and hiked with us for 4 days one year and then for 5 days the next year. And just really cool experience to be able to hike with him and learn about his story. It was awesome. But honestly, some of the best memories that I have running programs were like very, very different. And even speaking about kids, like one of my favorite hikes that pops up in my mind, and it was on one of my favorite trails, which I know you guys are going to ask me about my favorite trails. So this one is is maybe there on the top 3 list. And it seems lame, but it's Hidden Lake. It's just hiking to the Hidden Lake overlook. And it's because, man, I have so many memories there when I was a kid. When I was, 6, 7, 8 years old, hiking with my parents, walking up to the lake and trying to see if we could see any cool creatures. And here a few years ago, I got the great opportunity to hike with a family that I was actually asked through some family friends to go hike with this group. And their dad had just passed away. And so I was hiking with his 2 daughters and a couple family friends and the wife. And hiking there and walking down after we had been up at Hidden Lake and just beautiful views and cool creatures and hiking down. And then it kind of all hit me. I'm walking next to this 6-year-old girl, and she's asking me like, hey, do you tickle your kids at night? My dad used to do that. And it just like hit me hard, like my daughter was the same exact age at the time. And it just started hitting me. And then I realized, this is where it really, like, my eyes started welling up. I realized that I was her age walking on this trail, dreaming about having the job that I have now. And being able to provide those experiences was such a cool, impactful experience for me, and it's the trail that I've hiked 1,000 times. But that one little moment and sharing that moment with her was like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to forget that. That was so cool. And I think about those experiences. Hidden Lake is one of the top hiked trails in the park. But it's so accessible for folks. And how many people have had those life-changing experiences walking up that trail and back, It's just cool to think about. Like, how blessed are we to be able to live near Glacier National Park and have those experiences? It's just epic, Yeah. Sorry to get a little sappy on you.
No, I love it.
So creating those kinds of experiences for folks who come with us on our programs is so exciting. And, we talked a little bit about the day programs that we offer. A lot of those folks are first timers on the trails, and we'll hit, a lot of the top trails. We'll do Hidden Lake with folks and Avalanche. We do a little bit on the Highline Trail, although we're going to be lowering that just because of the educational value of trying to hike 14 people on the Highline. It's like, we don't really get that one-on-one experience all that much because you're walking in a straight line, as you guys have talked about on that trail. And so we're currently kind of coming up with some new plans on different trails that we can hike that are really great for that educational quality, for us to be able to have those one-on-one experiences with folks and continue to deliver on the mission that we have to connect people with the natural world. One of the coolest things that you can do is you can actually book a personalized tour with us. So you get an educator and a vehicle for the day, and you can go to any trail that you want to go on. And these are awesome, and the staff love them because they get that connection with those families or the groups of friends or the bachelor group or whatever it is. We get to spend time with that group and hear their stories and tailor that education to what they're excited about. And it's really a great way to connect. One of my other favorite trails to hike on that I would be remiss not to mention, and one that honestly, like when you ask me, hey, Anthony, you want to go on a hike in Glacier? Like, what's your favorite trail? Almost always I'm going to say it's Firebrand Pass. I love Firebrand. And one of the reasons I love it, and I shouldn't be mentioning it on a podcast, because one of the main reasons I love it is it's unrecognized. Like, there's not that many people there. There's not a road sign. It's on the south side of the park. I almost miss the turn every single time, even though I've hiked it.
Same.
Like 20 times I've hiked it. I almost always miss it. But that pass is just ridiculously beautiful. And you walk through a lot of different little environments through an aspen grove, and you get into some old growth forest, and you walk up into the alpine. And when you get up to the pass, the views I think are just as stunning as at Sai or Pegan. Like, they're just beautiful, beautiful views, and it's super accessible for folks to get in on the south side of the park. It's just nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful trail.
It is, and if you're currently listening here, now's a great time. Fall is a great time because you've got the colors that Montana offers are present on that trail. And Sarah and I will talk about in the future. There's a couple of peaks right up there, Calf Robe and Red Crow, that you can explore if you want to. And it just affords a lot of opportunities, a lot of berries. I know the thimbleberries are hanging over the trail. You really don't even have to, you really don't have to get away from the trail to enjoy those.
Good berries on that one for sure. And this time of year, the elk are bugling. like specifically like right now, if you have never been on trail and heard an elk bugle, it's life-changing. There's something eerie and creepy. It like gets into your soul. It's crazy when an elk is bugling near you. It's awesome. And you did ask earlier if I'm a hunter. I do hunt, and honestly, like being able to hear that noise is just a humbling, cool wildlife experience. I think everyone needs to experience it at some point.
Not in Glacier National Park.
Correct.
Let's be clear for visitors.
Thank you for that disclosure. Yeah, I appreciate that one.
But so much to offer, through Glacier National Park. We are so thrilled and honored to have had Anthony on the program today. Check out the Glacier Institute online for more information, and it's a great way to an entry point into the park. And what a pleasure. We would love for you to check out our Instagram feed at Hiking Fools MT for some great photos of our recent hikes, and tune in next time. And remember you can find more episodes and follow this podcast on Apple and Spotify. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, encouraging you to always go.